And, you know, I always wanted students to be socially aware and conscious about the world around them. So this was kind of a labor of love. And then my husband, Corey, he is kind of the brainchild of the sales aspect of it. So it's kind of like a meeting of the minds. And so this is really just, it's something that I really am passionate about, just environmental awareness. I am a city girl, Baltimore, born and raised. And, you know, there are lots of smokestacks down there in Baltimore. Domino Sugar is still there. But, you know, in that landscape and thinking about urban areas and how, you know, environmentally they are some of the most compromised places, it just is something that was part of my just my credo, that I wanted to do something like this, and then, you know, capitalize on it. We're all human, obviously. And then my husband having that other piece of it. He's not here, but you know, the sales aspect of it. And yeah, I mean, I kind of came at this very organically. It's not just something that I decided out of the blue to do.
Well, you know, you and I have a lot more in common than you think. You know, you mentioned Domino Sugar and smokestacks. I actually grew up in Brooklyn, where Domino had a plant also right on the East River.
Oh my.
That couldn't have been more than, I don't know, 3 blocks from my house growing up.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh
So,
man.
but all right, good. Well, Kimberly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share your card. So if people wondering, sometimes I look to my left, I just have a real hard time with not being able to see Kimberly and being able to see my screen. And I know I could lay it over, but it's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen. Now, Kimberly, I'm going to put your card up there, and you could walk us through. You know, I'm just going to leave it there. Anyway, walk us through. You know, let me go to the about you first. Obviously, everybody could see Kimberly's card, USB Solutions, CEO, phone numbers you want to contact her, everything else, or LinkedIn. And let's go to the about you page. So here's your about you.
Okay. And, you know, just to speak more about it, just the promotion of the energy conservation, it is important as we're moving into a different administration. You know, those green initiatives are going to be very, very important. So that really drove us. Yes, we are located in the Washington, D.C. metro area. And, you know, he wasn't going to say anybody, but I mean, obviously that was going to be the case that you found out. So we're right on the footsteps. We're right at the footsteps of the Capitol. And we have our nose to the ground and our ears and listening ears and looking at all of those initiatives.
Now you actually fit in perfect. You know, we talk about the card, and you and I have had a lot of funny conversations. And
absolutely,
you know, we both you know, you have a green initiative. I kind of in some way have a green initiative, right? Yours is just a little, it's like two ends of the spectrum, right? You know, I guess, right? It's like one end is what you're doing and the other end is, you know, us maybe trying to get rid of paper or something.
It is. And I think that's what makes this whole relationship with your company and my company very symbiotic, because we're trying to say the same thing, just in different ways. You know, and when I decided to kind of come into working with your organization, it just flowed, because who am I to be talking about the green space and being more socially aware, environmentally aware? And I'm going and getting cards from Vistaprint, you know, not to knock any place, or just anywhere. What kind of message does that send? And it's all about messaging. So when I saw that you were offering this, I couldn't have thought of, you know, a better fit. So, you know, singing your praises, as I told you I was going to do.
Well, that's wonderful. But, you know, and again, it's kind of, you're right. I mean, I've seen a lot of people where they send an email out and it says, if you print this, you know, please don't print it or you're hurting the trees and everything else. And, you know, people still print it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and let's go. Which one do you want to talk about? Your charging stations, your benches?
Let's start with the Grasshopper. And the reason why I say that, because those are ready to go. They are if anyone would be interested in the Grasshopper. Those are ready to go.
See, and that just shows you we just went from your card, which had
yes,
the Grasshopper button, directly to the
yes.
Grasshopper. So there you go.
And, you know, it is a recharging station. And think about with COVID, how we're being forced to be outside more because of the social distancing. And, you know, you have that opportunity to recharge. Some people, you know, think about it as, you know, I'm stuck, stranded out. I have, you know, I'm on 1%, 2%. This is to be considered something that's a lifesaver in a lot of cases, and it's just a level of convenience. Now, you know, people may say, well, it's kind of, you know, close, you know, if you have more than one person charging, you know, at the same time, that's kind of the close proximity, but you're outside. So you can still charge, step back, step away. And so you can still institute your 6 feet in there. So it's still something to think about, and it's solar powered. What better?
So now where people put their phone on that little table? Well, I guess it looks little because it's the picture, but on that table is where people would put their phones.
Yes, and there are USB. They can, if they have a USB cord, it can just go in, and yes.
So here are some other pictures where you know, there are a couple of people. Obviously, this must have been pre-COVID taken, but again, you know, this is so, you know, if also I see a park in the playground. So really, you know, and I know what happens if you're out and about or whatever. Sometimes you forget to charge your phone before you leave the house.
Absolutely. And the good thing about it, the company that we're representing in this, I say this neck of the woods, is NewTek Energy. That's the company that's the actual manufacturer. And they have given us the opportunity to represent them, the Mideast, and the Panhandle of Florida. They've given us that territory as well.
Thank God I stay out of the Panhandle. But NewTek, aren't they? They're based out of Missouri, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
See, I did my research. And I know, and I think Bill's going to be listening. I hope I said Bill. I hope that's his first name. I hope I got it right.
Chris.
Chris. You can't get him well. All right. Well, Chris Conti. I got his last name right?
Yes.
One day, if you want to get on, we'll also talk to you about NewTek and your relationship.
Yes. So shout out to them.
Give a shout out. You know, we're there for everybody. So now, okay. So let me ask you a question. So obviously, the regular person like myself is not buying this, right? Because I'm just a regular guy.
Right.
Who's your perfect target customer for the charging stations?
We have several. We're kind of giving laser focus on one industry right now, but globally, you can think about your outdoor spaces like dog parks, playgrounds, soccer fields, trails, if anybody's doing any hiking, biking. We could also think about water parks, amusement parks.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we're really trying to drill into the recreation and park space.
So that would fall into, what does that fall under? City, local, and state?
Cities, municipalities, like, you know, if I'm speaking like, well, I live in the city of Upper Marlboro. So I would speak to the Department of Rec and Parks and see if they would like to purchase one of these for their playground, their play spaces. In addition, there are also country clubs that would be interested, like I said, some commercial properties that, you know, may need this. But right now, we're really trying to drill into the rec and park.
Now,
anyone else that's interested? Oh, absolutely. We would definitely market to them.
Okay.
But,
I'm thinking, I'm thinking, you mentioned parks, stadiums are a great place, but that leads me to my next question is, what is the actual charging time? Like, in other words, if I put my phone, well, actually stadiums, if the charging station would have to be outdoor, of course it's solar. Oh, it could be still. Okay, so what's the actual charging time? You know, let's say if I'm down to 2% and I go to the park, will it take me 10 minutes to get to 30%? Or how long would it actually take me?
It would probably take you 10 minutes to get to 35, maybe 40%.
Okay.
And that's and it keeps the battery stays fully charged for, you know, with full sunlight for goodness, 24 to 48 hours with a full charge. You know, and the batteries are they're more than a car battery. They are similar to, I would say, well, it's equivalent to 2 car batteries, and
Okay.
enough, yeah, enough to give you enough to get to your car, or maybe, you know, get if you need to make that emergency phone call. But you can do about 35 to 40% in 10 minutes.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you who are wondering, that's the Grasshopper station. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go from there. And which bench do you want to do the bench charging?
I would like to do the Solis first. Yes.
That's this one, the bench.
Yes.
All
That
right,
was actually, that.
So we're going to go to that one. Obviously, this is another part of what USB Solar S does.
Yes.
I'm not going to say USB Solars because then they'll think it's solar plural, but it's not. Again, we're speaking with Kimberly Bullock, the CEO of USBSolarS.com. That's the website. Company is USB Solar S. So now we're on to talk about the Solis bench powering. Now these look like they're pretty neat.
Yeah. Now what you're seeing down there are the actual bench options. But if you look at the first 2 renderings, that is the actual the Solis with the solar unit that would be placed behind the bench, and then on the side the bench can be used to charge on the sides, actually wireless. You can actually just you don't even need a USB port for that one.
Oh, you don't?
So not for this one, and then the table that you're going to show next. They actually have the little port where you can just put the phone, especially if you have the new 5G phones, you can do that.
Okay.
But there is still an option if you need to plug in the USB, and the renderings need to be a little bit more specific so people can see. But for I guess for copyright,
you can see them a little bit here, I guess, if that's what I'm looking at. So,
yes.
All right, these are neat. So now for these, I'm looking. Again, these would be good in parks, universities, recreational places, stuff like that. You know, this I have to laugh because, you know, I'm kind of old school. You kind of mumbled and said, I was an educator. Back in the day, you know, this is a far cry from the park benches I'm used to.
Yes.
So, all right, great.
Can I say something else?
Of course you can. Please do.
With the benches, there are opportunities for advertising space. It can be on a specialized, that can be a part of the bench. Also, the benches can be used, some of the universities you mentioned can actually use them as donations. So somebody can donate the bench and, you know, as a donor. It could be an alumna, a sorority or fraternity that wants to do that. So that's an option too.
Now, I'm assuming the advertising, that could be put on the back of the bench, like where people put their backs on to sit, or similar to like a bus station, I guess, right?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
let me ask you this question. I'm sure you thought about it, but on these benches, you know how you go in a bus station. Have you ever thought about putting the cover, like for a bus station, above the bench, but the solar part is actually sticking out? So when people are, you know, they can actually sit in the rain on the bench too, you know?
See, this is why I love brain power. Thank you. I like that idea.
So now you actually just increased your advertising space, because like on a bus station, you have the one side facing out, you have the other side facing the other way, then you have the sides facing in. You've just created 6 new places to advertise for people.
Exactly. So if somebody decides to purchase this, and let's say they wish to sell the advertising space, now we have a win-win situation in that person can purchase the bench, have sold the advertising space, which would pay for the bench itself. In addition, would create annual revenue if it's the same advertiser or other advertisers. So technically, they haven't paid for the bench, and they're still getting some sort of revenue.
See,
Does that make sense?
I just gave you something to think about, didn't I?
Yes. Yes.
All right, well,
yes. What would I do without you? Besides the card, you know, you're always a great partner. Thank you.
All right. Well, great. So again, so if anybody out there is listening, what we're going to do after is I'm going to send Kim a link to this video. She's going to post it. We're not done yet, but she's going to post it, and you know, she'll have her picture of her card up with the QR code. You could reach her anytime, and don't forget, if you're out there and you're listening, this might be, you know, an option for you. Especially if you're in the areas that Kim had just mentioned. So,
all right, I'm waiting for this one. I want to save this one for last. Definitely.
Kim's saving this one for last because there's a reason, I'm sure.
Ooh. Look at that.
It looks like kind of a picnic table type of deal.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
And as you can see, same concept. Did I mention, Steve, these are Wi-Fi compatible? I forgot about that part.
These are just these or all of them?
All of them.
Ah, well, you see, there you go. That happens to me when I'm actually trying to record stuff and I forget. So
yes.
So these are like, people can actually sit around them. You got the Wi-Fi and you're outside.
Yes, we just spoke with the manufacturer. We had spoke to them about beacon marketing, that you would have the Wi-Fi in place, and you could actually, if you get onto whatever the site is, you may be a company that wishes to advertise through that Wi-Fi. It's called beacon marketing. So if you come into this particular space, my ad's going to pop up.
Right. And for those of you who don't know what beacon marketing is, I'm all too familiar with it. Is like, for example, you walk into a Walmart and all of a sudden a message pops up on your phone that says, hey, Walmart's giving X amount off, or you're driving past a Target and all of a sudden you get a message on your phone. That's what they call beacon marketing. Very good. Very interesting.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So what else do you want to add, Kim, before, you know, I ask you how you're using the card and we wrap up? Again, we're speaking with Kimberly Bullock, the CEO of USB Solar S. Website's www.usbsolars.com. Now I'm starting to getting into my old radio days, you know, where I'm starting to repeat stuff. I'm catching back up. I'm having like
okay, it's fine. I guess the biggest thing that I want people to know about our products is that, you know, they do serve for the greater good, in addition to helping the person, because we're more than likely it's a B2B purchase.
Right.
That there are so many pluses. There are some rebates that would be involved with being involved with green, the tax rebates, but also there's a PR piece. It looks really good. It looks good that a company may say that, you know, we're following that whole environmental thing. So it looks good. It's kind of like a feather in the cap.
Sure.
And, you know, it can pay for itself, especially if you tap into the advertising. And it's just the level of convenience for, you know, the people, even the employees that you may have. You're still saving energy and you are actually increasing your revenues because the expenditures aren't the same.
Now obviously, you know, again, people really need to take a look at this, and we'll be posting. You can watch the video again later. I'll send you a link when we're done. You know, it's Kim and I met through LinkedIn, believe it or not. And then I don't want to say, you know, Kim introduced me to a couple other people, and, you know, we'll leave that alone, Kim. But no, Kim has been a real great ambassador for us, especially for the card. And, you know, we always try to help each other out. And again, that's really the purpose of what we're doing here, right?
Absolutely.
It's more to talk about what Kim does. And then, you know, if you'd like to talk about how your experience with the card, always welcome. But, you know, I really want to spread the word on what you're trying to do. And and help you grow as best you can. And, you know, if we can get somebody interested that reaches out to you, then we've accomplished what we set out to do with this call.
Thank you so much. I just have to say that not only is what you have offered, like I said, it's still on I have it right here. Not only what it is that you've offered is such a good thing, it just is so seamless. It's not even just about, I mean, the convenience factor, yes, but it's just everything's there. I mean, the QR, everything. I mean, it is just ingenious what you did with this. So, I mean, just allow me, as always, to sing your praises, and I do appreciate.
I appreciate that. Now that you're singing them, you know what else you could do is, now I just came up with another marketing ideas. On the back of your benches or somewhere, you can actually put that QR code. Okay, so and then people could scan it in the future. Like, let's say you get a municipality and somebody sees it and says, "Wow, what a great idea!" Especially when they're sitting in the park. Who can I ask about this? Well, you can call Parks and Rec. Well, actually, no, you could scan this QR code and get Kimberly's card. So again, just a thought.
Yes.
Thought for you.
So, and I have to say, the other thing that I like about your company is if there needs to be any tweaking, like you've done stuff for me in less than 20 minutes. Like the turnaround time has been less than a half an hour. And that in and of itself says a lot, because, you know, customer service being as it is just generally is not that way. That was stellar. So you're stuck with me, like I said.
Well, that's good. I like I said, you know, I could, you know, I can't be stuck with somebody better than you. And I wish Corey was here because we can get him on the sale low. But, you know, Kimberly's convinced he looks like Jerome Bettis. So, Bus, if you're listening to this, there's a doppelganger of you somewhere.
You know what? If you go on LinkedIn, he's on there. I cannot believe you said that. Oh my gosh. I know he's going to be blushing. That was an inside joke but he got it a lot. He used to get it all the time. He did.
All right.
I'm sure Jerome has said, "Oh, no way."
Yeah, well, I thought Corey was more handsome, but that's just me. I'm just saying. So now I'm sure somebody will text me. I'll get a message, and you know, so what? What are they going to do?
Okay.
All right. Listen, Kimberly, I want to thank you again, and again, it's usbsolars.com. www.usbsolars.com. You really got to go check them out. They're really doing what's right for the planet, and for people who always find themselves without some sort of power out there. And again, you know, we've done so many things with solar, right? People power their house with solar. I mean, I have a solar, I think it's solar. Yeah, I do. I have solar that warms up my pool. You know, so again, just look them up. It's www.usbsolars.com, and Kimberly Bullock is the CEO. Thank you so much.
All right.
You have a great holiday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right. Take care, sir.
You got it.
All right.
All right.